begin with breaking news.
We continue to follow breaking news in Esparto in Yolo County. Live pictures from Live Copter 3 over the scene of destruction. Decimation of this once fireworks facility. The fireworks facility exploded last night. Live Copter 3 is overhead right now, and you can see it is just leveled and still smoldering, and debris is just thrown everywhere, scattered even around the property into the surrounding orchards and the surrounding farmland. But you can still see smoke rising from the ashes. We're still seeing some flames on this property. It's still a very dangerous scene, and that's why you don't see firefighters or emergency personnel or anyone close to it, because things can still explode. And also, it's not known what still hasn't exploded yet. And we do know that 7 people are unaccounted for. We're also getting word that the Cloverdale fireworks show has been canceled because their fireworks were stored at this facility. And that was the moment of the most massive blast. There were several blasts last night, but that was the most massive one that we saw almost right at 7 o'clock. And you can see the fireworks that are going off beneath all of that dark black smoke. And now we're about 18.5 hours later, still a very dangerous situation. Evacuation still in place, people still being told to stay away. And the investigation ahead is a long one to figure out exactly what happened. We don't know what set off the fire. We don't know if it was intentional, if it was an accident, but we do know 7 people are unaccounted for. We have KCRA 3's Leanne Denyer safely flying in Live Copter 3 really high above the scene right now. Leanne, what are you seeing from your vantage point?
Well, like you just mentioned, there is still a risk. And at the last update that we got from officials, they told us that while the risk has been reduced, there is very much still a risk present. So I just want to show you what we're seeing, like you mentioned, from a safe distance above in Live Copter 3. It really is hard to look at, especially knowing what we've learned late this morning and into this early afternoon about the folks that are unaccounted for at this point. We think we were able to see one of the drones or some sort of tool that officials are using to monitor the damage and monitor, you know, what they're really dealing with here from the sky as well, because there is still risk. And like you mentioned, there's still uncertainty as to what is in this debris, in this incinerated facility. It really just it breaks your heart knowing that there are 7 people unaccounted for and people who are just actively waiting for information about them. We can see from our vantage point, you know, the charred grass surrounding what was this facility, and Callista, our photographer, noted just a moment ago just the size and the radius of this entire scene is very large. And when we were flying here at the start of the show, we saw one of these spot fires about two miles away. So just as we zoom out, you can just see just the scope of this and the char and the incinerated facility on the ground. And even from a distance, you can see the smoke. But let's go ahead and zoom back in and try to see what there is to see. It's very difficult to tell what is what because there is just such extensive damage to this facility. We can of course see that the swimming pool, and then just a mangled former structure. We can still see some of those storage containers that did not explode, and of course that black dark gray smoke that is coming from one. If we could actually go ahead and zoom in, Callista, I believe that was the spot where we saw some fire, and I'm curious if there is still fire. You have to assume that those flames are still going, but just too dangerous for fire officials to get in there. But we do know that the state is going to be sending in arson and bomb investigators as soon as they are able, that they are working on this. of course, again, I have to say it again, it's very difficult to look at it, knowing what we saw in our newscasts last evening and then seeing what is left of this fireworks facility. It really is quite difficult, and just this extent of the damage really is impressive in just absolutely the worst way. The expert that we were able to talk to, that Edie and Curtis were able to speak with while this was ongoing, said that one of the first things that he thinks that investigators are going to be looking at is the distance between the storage containers. What was the possible ignition and any firefighting equipment that was on site? And again, I am no expert in firefighting or fireworks. I'm curious as to what they'll be able to determine was here due to just this extensive damage, and I'm eager to hear what investigators, as the weeks and months ahead pass, what they are able to determine from what's left of this place. But I think just the biggest thing right now is that those 7 people are unaccounted for. We don't know any details about who they are at this point, but. Yeah, that just very difficult to look at.
It really is.
We were able to see that there was some residents that were burned, as well as multiple vehicles. Lisa, did you have something?
Yeah, no, and speaking of the residents, I think it was surprising to me when I was watching this all unfold just how close that house is to the stored fireworks. And, you can see the above ground pool that they have there. But that house, caught fire before, and it was gone before that main huge explosion that we saw just before 7 o'clock last night. That house was gone, but it's, I'm sure investigators will look into how close that home was to everything that was there. It really just the chimney is all that's left standing there. You can see it on the right, and a lone palm tree that is really scorched, and that's about it. But yeah, our hearts go out to the families that are waiting for word about the 7 people who are still missing. But you can see this was a home. You can see this is, there's furniture and all the things that go inside a home, and that chimney that I was mentioning there, and that was all gone before it even got to that main area where we saw the biggest explosion out of all of them. So it's interesting to me that would even be, that a house would even be allowed to be so close. And, it's just heartbreaking when we think about the 7 people who are still unaccounted for. From the sky, let's go back to the ground and continue our team coverage now, where we have KCRA 3's Michelle Bandora as we talk about and think about those people who are still missing right now. Michelle.
Yes, that's right, Lisa. Like I told you before, the mood here, the scene just really took a turn when the family of some of the missing showed up here to really try to get answers and to ask people for prayers, to ask people to hold on to hope that they'll be walking out of that facility. I just spoke to the father of 3 of the missing, and he said he has 3 sons who work in that facility. 2 of them, it was their first day yesterday. And this family is from the San Francisco area. So the sons would drive here from the San Francisco area to work in this facility here. And we also spoke on camera to the girlfriend of one of the missing, one of the employees there, Jesus Menendez Ramos is his name. She says he's 18 years old. She also tells me that they're expecting a baby, and we spoke to her when she arrived on scene. Let's listen to what she told us.
We have a baby on the way, and I can't even risk things like that right now. He had so much coming for him, and they were saying that there was a warning beforehand, but somebody's behind this. There's no way that just happened.
Yeah, we're trying to get more information on this warning that she was talking about, because she did say she spoke with her boyfriend sometime in the afternoon. She said he was supposed to be off work around 2 or 3, so she didn't know why he was still in the facility at the time of the explosion. And so we're just trying to get answers, as they are trying to get answers as well. And I will tell you that the father is pretty angry. He's, pretty upset that they're not putting out the fire fire, that they're standing back, is what he says. And so really it's just the answers that they want. It's just the worry, heart-wrenching, and wanting to know what's going on with his sons and where they are right now, and waiting for those answers, as we are too. And I'm told from CAL FIRE that the State Fire Marshal's office, who is leading this investigation, is supposed to be holding a news conference in this area where we are sometime this afternoon to maybe try to answer some of those questions as we, figure out what's going on here minute by minute and day by day. And again, just telling you, we're about less than a mile away from the facility. They're keeping us back. They're calling it a crime scene and calling this a rare incident. And we do have, again, like I said, some of the family members here on scene as the media is trying to talk with them. And again, everyone trying to get answers as to what happened here. But boy, Lisa, you really feel for Sienna as she's waiting and wondering what happened to her boyfriend. And she's just very upset. And again, she's asking everyone, let's hold on to hope. Let's get some prayers. Let's not try to jump to conclusions as they just wait here, trying to find shade in the heat because it's pretty warm out here as they're just trying to figure out what's going on, like all of us. Yeah, and she's expecting a baby. That's just, it's a lot. And you can understand a parent's anger, them, the dad wanting them to go in there. It's just, I get it as a parent. Even if they're 18, they're still your baby. And but it's just not safe. It's just not safe. But hopefully we can hold on to hope, like you said, Michelle. Right. I was thinking maybe they maybe passed out or unconscious. I mean, there was just so much heat, but maybe they were able to get away and start running. But we'll have to go back up into Live Copter 3 because we could really zoom in, and you just never know. Right. Maybe there's someone that's still out there that was able to survive and had a warning and had enough of a heads up or intuition to start running. Right. All right, Michelle. And so many scenarios, that are going through their head. Oh, I'm sorry, Lisa. I was just saying so many scenarios that are going through their heads. They're feeling helpless and they want to help. And like you said, you don't know. And we haven't heard about any ambulances or any medical attention or anyone at a hospital yet. But like you said, you never know. They could have gotten away, and it's so hot out, so you just don't know. So thanks, Lisa. Yeah, and it's just still so dangerous, though. All right, Michelle, thank you so much. We'll let you get back to work as there are all those families there that are just waiting. One of the 4th of July events that's impacted by yesterday's fire and explosion is the Yuba Sutter fireworks show. It was confirmed today that the fireworks for that event were destroyed. In a statement, organizers say at this time we cannot confirm whether the fireworks portion of the event will move forward, but we are working diligently on a plan B that would still allow the community to come together in a safe and meaningful way. I also mentioned that we got word that the Cloverdale fireworks show has been canceled because their fireworks were being stored at that facility in Esparto.